Hey everybody, Stu Smith here, going live, taking some questions, giving some answers, as well as maybe breaking down some combat swimmer stroke videos as well. So, in fact, if you have one you want me to do live, you can send it to me at stu@stusmith.com and I'll download it and put it up here for you. I only have one ready to go right now. So hopefully the questions come in because I don't have a whole lot of videos to critique today. They all came on my phone and I didn't transfer them over. I just realized that as soon as I hit live. So we'll do what we can. I maybe show some old ones if we need to. But I hope you guys are starting the new year with a bang, hitting it hard, getting after it. Wrote a few new articles this week, like I do every week, and focusing on uh, a big change that has occurred this year, especially if you're going into the military. Oop, that's not good. Got a loose wire up there or something. Um, because pharmacy records are now being pulled in before MEPS or during MEPS. So, and it's a way to actually confirm the questionnaire that you take when you're in the recruiter's office, asking you, do you have this? Have you had that type of medical issue? So things that are real easy to hide, obviously, is like if you have ADHD when you were a kid, you were probably prescribed some form of medication for that, and they can find that out now. Um, Same for any type of narcotic or opioid prescription that you had. They can see when you had it, who prescribed it, when was your first one, when was your last one. So um, if you're trying to hide stuff, they're probably going to find it if there's a trail of medicine leading to it. So that just happened. That just started in December of last year. Probably still, you know, smoothing out the rough edges, but it is a thing now. So, hey guys, like my new backdrop. Thought I'd post some stuff up here, and part of it's some of my stuff that I've had in the past, as well as gifts that have been given to me over the years from students, and just thought it made a more professional background than a bookcase. Um, but all right, let's take some questions. Got a few of them here. How many miles do you recommend running in preparation for buds? I've heard 40 to 60. I've answered this question dozens of times, written several articles on it, and you can find them if you search Google with that exact question and my name in it. But I do have a running plan that I'm going to post up here in the comment section for you, because it turns that one upside down a little bit, and I'll explain why this is so important. It's only 20, 25 miles a week is what I have, but they mean something. And the answer to your question is truly, it depends. It depends on your athletic history. It depends on your strengths and weaknesses. Um, Most people are trying to build up to 40 or 50 plus miles a week, and they do it with a whole lot of long, slow distance running. And all that really does is get you good at running long, slow distance, and you still fail a 4 mile timed run when you're there. So, um, that is something you have to watch out for. Run with a purpose is my answer to that. Whether that's 25 miles a week with a purpose or it's 35 miles a week with a purpose, doesn't really matter. It really just depends. If your weakness is running, then I would probably try to build up your durability to handle more mileage than you're used to. And that needs to be done over time. However, if you're already a competitive runner and can run 6-minute miles, no problem, do a 25-minute 4-mile. The last thing you need is to run 50 miles a week. You need to spend more time, most likely, swimming more with a big pair of fins on because you got skinny running legs, or you need to get in the weight room, put some upper body mass on because boats and logs are going to crush you. So everybody's going to have this strength and weakness. I will tell you, after the first 4 weeks of buds, it turns into running, swimming, and learning how to dive and shoot. Right? So you're not going to have any more logs and boats. So if you can endure those first 4 weeks, first phase, which are kicking the butt, that's where all the attrition is. This last class had 190 when it started, and it finished with 13 at the end of Hell Week. So now some of those guys got rolled for injuries, and they're still in, but still that class was decimated. So your durability really matters those first 4 weeks. So it depends, is my answer. I personally would recommend, going through the year like a bell curve, where maybe you maintain fast 20 miles a week during the low end, and then during the summer or spring or whatever, you kind of build up to maybe 35, 40 miles a week, but still make them fast, and then bell curve it down coming into fall and winter, take it back down to 20 miles a week, even 15 to 20 miles a week, just depends. Last thing you want to do is go there and be broken and then get broken again. So you can definitely hurt yourself if you're not smart with your running progression building up to that many miles. So I've answered that question for the 50th time. I hope that helps. Okay, I'm currently having issues with this Milliman. Oh, okay, yeah, military drug review. Now I have to prove I'm not someone else in the other coast of. Yeah, you know what? You have the same name as someone else. That really sucks because a couple of times there's another person named my wife's name that lives on the same street, but instead of road, it's street. Very confusing, and she always gets that lady's prescriptions at at Walgreens. So I could see how that can be a cluster. So it's always paperwork. It's always some form of paperwork, whether that is a medical waiver or sounds like you have to figure out your way around the new system as well. How high should I bring my knees during a scissor kick? Great question. A lot of people like bringing the knee up high and whipping it down. I personally don't like doing that. I like, you're going to bring your knee probably close to your hip a little bit, but where all the power comes from is from the knees down. So you can just open up your hips a little bit and then whip kick those knees down to finish the scissor kick with all the power. So focus on that. Focus on, open your legs a little bit and find that magic spot for you where you can really whip it from the knees down. And that's where all the power comes from. In fact, let me show you this one because I think this guy had a pretty decent kick, as I recall. Let me share my screen. All right, let me know if you guys can see this. All right, so kick off the wall. Oh, you know what? I think he has more of a he's got a breaststroke kick. So this is going to be a different kick video for you. I'll try to find a better one for you that we can watch and watch the glide. Yeah, as you can see, what he's doing wrong here is he's got a breaststroke kick with a bunch of little flutter kicks afterwards. Best thing to do is just kick once and keep your feet together. That's just a lot of waste of energy. You know, over a 500-yard swim, you're probably doing about 500 flutter kicks there easily because you're doing at least a yard kick per yard when you do that. Overall, though, let's see what we got. Top arm, bottom arm, kick. Kind of hold the glide. Let's see. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, pull. Not bad. He's just not going very far when he does that, and he thinks he needs to kick to keep on going, but really he's just wasting energy when he does that. So my personal recommendation, unless you are a breaststroker from a competitive swimming background, you're probably not going to have a very good breaststroke kick. I know mine was never good, but my scissor kick was great because I spent my whole life running, working my hips in a normal running motion, which is what a scissor kick is, versus an open and close motion, what the breaststroke is. So I typically do this. If you're an athlete that grew up on land and did all land athletics, you're probably not going to do very well with a breaststroke kick. However, if you've done water polo, you've done swimming, you've had some swimming skills over the years, breaststroke kick is a very powerful kick, and you will see a lot of good gliding out of it. I'll try to pull up. What I'll do is I'll try to pull up. Maybe I'll just go to like my TikTok page and pull up some videos there that we can watch. I will share this though with you. Let me share this article here. In fact, I'll also plug it into the comment section here too, because this is the two most important articles and videos embedded in them that will help you with your combat swimmer stroke. One, it focuses on your streamline, and two, it focuses on the stroke sequence: pull, breathe, kick, glide, all of that. So you got to check that out. In fact, I'll just damn, my camera is moving all over the place. Damn it. Let me see if I can get it to stay put. Got to set that up a little better. Let me see here. Share screen. All right. So this article called the most important articles and videos to watch to learn the CSS, and it's really good. All right. Make sure you're seeing what I'm seeing here. So this is at my stewsmithfitness.com page. You could search it and find this one. Basically, streamline body position. You know, check out the streamline. That's really important. You know, I just threw some embedded videos in here of guys that are much better at swimming than I am. These are competitive swimmers. Probably won't be able to share that one while I'm streaming. But yeah, there's everything in here from little kickboard drills. This is a really good one right here. If you can see that kickboard drill on your side with the board under your arm, and you do it for 25 yards, and then you swim 50 CSS down and back, grab the kickboard again, do that, 10 times, and you got yourself a good little kickboard practice kicking workout that will definitely save your kick. But there's a whole section in here on the kick and the glide, and these are very important, not only to read and understand, but also watch some of these videos in here that will help you put it to pictures. Pictures worth 1,000 words. A video is worth 10,000 if you want to even add that one in there. Let's see. Luke asks, what's a good run ruck ratio for someone prepping for buds? You know what we do? We ruck on leg days. So We do leg days twice a week. We ruck twice a week. We also swim with fins twice a week. So we kind of call it like a Spec Ops leg day. We'll still do our squats and our lunges. We'll even do some deadlifts and RDLs, some jumps. But after all the lift and the calisthenics, we'll mix in, farmer walks, fireman carries. I would recommend fireman carries because you'll be doing those up a berm just for pure punishment. And then afterwards, later in the day, we'll ruck for half an hour, maybe 45 minutes. And that can be on the sand, it can be on pavement, whatever, trail. We prefer the sand, and then or a hill. Another one is a stair stepper. You could do that, rucking with a stair stepper. If you don't have hills or sand nearby, that's a great one. In fact, I wrote an article on military.com, I think it was. Put this in here, looking for Spec Ops, the weighted stair stepper workout. Very useful. So check this out in the comment section. That's a military.com article I wrote a few weeks ago, but we've been doing it for probably 10 years. And I never really thought about much of it until I recently tried it again, and it's great leg workout, great for everything: rucking, running, log PT. Just get your legs fired up. So yeah, think of it on leg day, rucking on leg days, so twice a week. So if I had a ratio for that, I would say you run 4 to 5 times a week and you ruck 1 to 2 times a week, depending on your abilities. Is log PT considered more of a team exercise instead of conditioning exercise? Yeah, it's definitely a team exercise. But they will call you out real quick if you're slacking. If they see you whining or your hands aren't under the log or it's not on your shoulder, you're not putting out, you're getting under the log like an inch, when you're doing lunges, and let your neighbors pick up all your weight, things like that will get you hammered. So it is a team effort, but it's also, you can be individually pulled out and pretty much run out of your boat crew if an instructor sees you slacking. And they only do that in the first 4 weeks. So they swim 7 miles a week in pre-buds. How many miles should you swim for buds? 10 miles a week? No. At buds, you're only going to swim 2 miles a week with a pair of fins on, at least for a test. You are swimming a lot in pre-buds, but at buds, you're going to put your fins on and swim first phase for distance 2 miles a week. You got a 2-mile ocean swim. Now, eventually you're going to build up to, like, once you get to the island, you'll do a 3 or 4 mile swim, and then you'll do the big 6-mile swim. But yeah, I wouldn't worry about 10 miles a week. I would say, if you should swim every day prior to buds, just to get in really good swimming shape. 1, to crush the 500-yard swim. 2, to work on your technique, but also 3, to get your legs prepared to swimming with fins, because 99% of your swims at buds will be with a pair of fins on. Now, in first phase, you're going to have a lot of drills, a lot of life-saving drills, drown proofing. So you'll be wet and doing things in the water. You'll do treading a lot with fins and without fins. I would practice that. And then in second phase, you do scuba dive for more miles, but you still only swim 2 miles a week, and that's part of a test. And if you fail that, you'll get kicked out after failing too many of those. Hope that answers your test or question. I don't think you need to go crazy with swimming that many miles. Put it this way, I swim a lot. I think for my activities, I work out, hour and a half a day, go for a run, um, and then I swim probably 10,000 meters, 10,000 yards. So what's that? 5 miles a week. So 5 miles is not too much, and that's if that's looking at like what 2,000 a day, 2,000 meters a day, 5 days a week. What's a calisthenic exercise for hamstrings? Good question. I would say anything with jumping, um, lunging, um, we tend to do some weight vests, lunges, chest carry sandbag lunges. Um, you will definitely involve your hamstrings that way. You can also do some RDLs with a sandbag, right? That definitely get your hips and hamstrings in there. But what I would do is just go to Google and type in hamstring exercise, and you'll see countless of them. And then you could probably even use one, see how you could do that without weighted exercises. Let's see. Any other questions? Because I can shut that off. Let's see here. Oh, you know what? This is something that might be fun to discuss. Have you ever heard of the OODA loop, right? OODA loop. This article I just wrote, posted it up on Instagram. It's on Stu Smith Fitness. It's the latest article I wrote on Instagram. And I'm sorry, on Stu Smith Fitness. And let me just share you what it is. If you've never heard of the OODA loop, you need to check it out, because for some reason it's not popping up. Where is it? All right. OODA loop stands for observe, orient, decide, and act. And let's see if this is it here. There we go. All right. So check it out. Google it. It's a really neat history behind this. An Air Force colonel, Boyd, created this one. He was a fighter pilot, and it just is all about, he kind of focuses on the operational side, military operations, but since the Korean War, when it was created, it has been used in countless other, big thinking activities, from business to law to even hand-eye coordination development, all those things, because it's really useful tool. And what I did with it is I have this Venn diagram. If you guys have never seen it, this is the Venn diagram of let me see if I can make this a little bigger. Venn diagram of the tactical athlete and why this is important. You'll find that, there you go, maybe make that a little bit bigger for you. So as you can see here, we have 4 main things that make up the tactical athlete. and that is durability, work capacity, stress mitigation, and stability. And all of the different activities work to build better elements. So you got strength, power, speed, and agility. That kind of leads to a physical durability. Um, Work capacity is more anaerobic, aerobic conditioning, muscle stamina. You got long days of work handling this stuff. Um, Stress mitigation is everything that you do from physical, mental, emotional stress, dealing with that, and how you successfully handle things that you see and that you're experiencing. Everything from recovery, nutrition, mobility, flexibility, sleep is in there, which I need to put in there. All that's very important. And then stability really is just how you learn new skills, whether it's your job skills, tactical skills, how you practice them, how you coordinate hand, eye movements, even uh, mind, body coordination, mindset. And this OODA loop goes right in there because what it's really all about is, what you see and the observe, and then obviously your body and your mind and all your senses are part of that observation. And from there, you go into orient all that information. How are you handling this information? And then you decide on an action to take, and then you take it. Sometimes this is a split second activity, such as, let's say you see something coming at you. It You obviously observe, this is going to hit me in the head if I don't duck, and you duck. Therefore, you've gone through that OODA loop. Um, but you can apply it to more lengthier processes, such as mission planning. And when you see an enemy target, how do you handle, depending on, what's going to happen? Is it a body language issue? All these little things that you're taking in. Is it friend or foe? All these things you have to figure out before you act, and is a system, right? And our brain gets better at doing it the more we better understand it. So I would highly recommend checking that out, reading stuff on the OODA loop. You Google it, there's thousands of things to read, there's books on it. It's really a fascinating, easy to understand methodology of how our brain, our senses, and our body all work together to successfully get through any type of situation. I mean, you do it a dozen times just driving 10 miles down the road. You don't even think about it, right? It's just a natural occurrence. But the more you understand how that occurs, the better you can improve upon it, if that makes any sense. I kind of compare it in this article, um, to teaching somebody power cleans, for instance. Like, I break down a power clean. If they've never touched a barbell before and they're going to learn a power clean, it may be a little while before we actually get to the power clean, but we're going to get to a deadlift first, and then we're going to get to a high pull, then we're going to get to a hang clean with a front squat, and then we'll put it all together and make it a power clean, right? The more you can take apart these different steps in the process of observing and acting, from deadlift to front squat, you can make yourself kind of like a parallel, you know comparison there of, making that a more smooth power clean, and you can make it a smoother process to go from observing to acting as well, depending on your experiences, your education, your tactical training. All of that comes together when you are making a decision to act. So, pretty cool little thing. I would highly recommend understanding how that works, especially if you're thinking about going into the tactical professions when there are emergency situations that obviously occur, um, throughout. But yeah, I think we're all tactical athletes and we should treat ourselves as such. And the better you understand this, the more of an asset you are in dangerous type situations. whether natural or man-made. All right, back to questions. So let's take a few more questions and then we'll call it. Can you alter your hand position during push-ups on the PST, or do your hands need to stay in the exact same spot? Well, I will tell you this. Be honest with you, I'm not sure if there's an actual rule on that, but you can't lift your hands. There's nothing that says you can't slide your hands and go a little wider. I know when I was taking my tests, that was a long time ago, and there've probably been a few more rule changes since then, but I would start off just outside my shoulders, and by the time I was done, I had probably moved out maybe 2 inches each hand. So an extra 4 inches is kind of slid out there. And it just distributes, it's up to you. Some people start in a little bit closer, working their triceps a little more, and then they get out a little wider, chest a little more, and they go out too wide, it's going to be all chest, and they may be burnt out if they do that. But you need to find out the system that works best for you, whether you're a close-in tricep guy, or I personally like just outside my shoulders, hands not quite at 12 o'clock. In fact, my right hand goes in at 1 o'clock and my left hand goes in at 11 o'clock. And that puts my elbows and torso right in a 45-degree angle for my body. I'm not in here, I'm about right there. And I'm not up high, like 90 degrees, right here, right? So 45 degrees should be a little 45-degree angle with your elbows to your torso. Will help you a lot. That's my hand position I recommend. Yes, Nordic curls. There you go. Yeah, those are good ones. Yeah, for hamstrings, absolutely. Yeah, if you can secure your feet and so your feet are secure, right? This is your waist, this is your head up here, and then your feet are down here. So now you're just going to bend down, lay down like you're doing a push-up, and then bring yourself back up to your knees. That's a great calisthenic hamstring. I had forgotten all about that one. Great idea, Chris. Good job on that one. Do I recommend negative splits when running 4-mile timed runs? Yes, I do. I personally like to start off. I personally like to try to see if I'm trying to hit a 28-minute 4-mile timed run, I'm going to try to hit each mile at 7 minutes. Now, because we're all competitive, we all like to push each other, I would say that last mile and a half, if I got the juice in me, I'll pick it up a notch and see if I can, get 30 seconds faster, or something, right? See if I can get a 27:30 out of that. But yeah, the first 2 miles of a 4-mile run are nice and steady, probably even first 3 miles for me. And then that last one, if I can, I'll try to bump it up a notch, try to go from 7 to 6:30, and see if I can, get 27:30 out of it. So yes, I like that. In fact, one of our workouts that we do very often is after we've done all the PT, all the weightlifting, we work out on this trail. We'll all run 10 minutes down the trail, and you have to run back faster than 10 minutes. So you're kind of teaching your body to practice a negative split, if that makes any sense for you. But you're pretty burned out because you just got through lifting and doing a lot of PT. So you may not have a whole lot of glycogen left over to had that kick. So that's when you have to get strategic with your nutrition and be sipping on some sugar, water, Gatorade, juice, whatever, throughout the day, so you have a little bit of extra kick on that back end, because that's where it's coming from. It's going to be coming from pure sugar. So first time I heard of the OODA loop was Air Force Base. Yeah, Air Force is all over. In fact, they even named streets after the OODA. Like if there's a loop on an Air Force Base, it's probably called the OODA loop. It's because it's pretty famous in the Air Force for sure. Oh, cool. Well, thank you. Oh, thanks for the OODA loop. Yeah, check out the article. It's really cool. I think I threw a couple of like scenarios in there, like just driving to explain the process of the OODA loop. And then in the article too, I give ideas how to practice mixing into workouts, which I think is very valuable tool to do. So you're actually practicing things while you're tired, because you're probably going to be tired, when you come to a situation and you got to figure out what you're going to do with all the information that's going on in your head, whether it's observations that you're making or it's internal focusing on your training, and your training clicks in, you decide on what to do and you go do it. Yeah, I love it. I love that. Great way to think about it. But it's a process that has been taught for over 70 years now. So if you haven't heard about it, you need to, because it's something that is very important, I think, in how we understand how things work. Always try to focus on symmetry for calisthenics. Make sure both sides work. Absolutely. Years ago, I never noticed my left arm would come out more, putting all the pressure on my right arm. Good point. Yeah, in fact, every time I do sit ups, I always balance it out with planks, or what I call swimmers, where you lay on your belly and you do flutter kicks. It's a great backside exercise. Anytime I do push ups, I do reverse push ups or reverse flies, rows, just to balance out, the front and the back. But yeah, you're right. Left and right is just as important. Anytime you work your thighs, you want to work your hamstrings. All of those things are balance is very important. In fact, I wrote an article called "The PT Reset," which is really very similar to what you're talking about, and it's focusing on balancing out PT test exercises. I'll put it in here and tell me what you think of that, Jojo. Um, it's got some links to some videos that are just balancing out the entire um, torso. So you got reverse push-ups, birds, arm haulers, side plank, dirty dogs, and donkey kicks for just working the hips a little, just to balance out those as well. Let's see. How many times do you do dips at buds? The only time you're going to do dips at buds is when you're doing grinder PTs, and probably say twice a week, maybe. And you don't do a whole lot. You might do 100 reps total in a workout. You might do like 5 sets of 20. Every now and then they'll, let's see who can do the most dips, and people will get 40 or 50 dips in a set. Go pretty hard. But for the most part, I would say average volume of dips were somewhere between, I don't know, 75 to maybe 150 max on the high end, maybe twice a week. You might do them later in buds a little bit more, but it's mainly because of class size. In first phase, there's just not enough dip bars for 190 people in a class to start. So you got to kind of wait till after Hell Week before everybody can fit on the dip bars. So it's not necessarily one of those activities that is done with a lot of frequency. You'll do a lot more push-ups than dips. You do a lot more pull-ups than dips, for that matter. Let's see. Guys, send me some questions. See what you got. You guys want to see if I can share my see if I can share my TikTok page? I'm sure if I even have it up. Oh, okay. Let's see if I can share my TikTok page on here. So my TikTok page, oops, what happened? What do you guys see? You guys see that? All right. TikTok, boom, here we go. So how about this? I'm going to show you something that is not
and here we have
the CSS.
Kick off the wall,
this is
and way too many
you
dolphin
think
kicks.
it's going to
Just
be a
do one dolphin
CSS,
kick off the
then
wall.
all of a sudden
Waste of energy.
turns into
But unfortunately,
the
this is
elementary
not a
side
CSS
stroke. You notice the difference here?
This is not the CSS.
Notice
this
the glide
is actually
phase.
more of
See this
a
glide phase right here?
elementary side
Top
stroke
arm,
than it is a CSS. You see that
top arm and a kick
and
go
then you hold the
together.
glide there
That's
with
the
the bottom
elementary
arm
side stroke.
extended.
A lot of people confuse this
Whereas the
with
CSS has both arms over the head in the glide position, like kick off the wall
with
there.
the CSS, because they probably learned this before,
instead
maybe
of a
in like
breathe,
a
kick,
life-saving
glide, you got a top arm, bottom arm,
lifeguard
kick,
class or something. Learn an elementary
and
side
you
stroke.
pull and kick at the same
But
time.
you can see it's top arm and leg kick together, and you glide in that lead arm
with the bottom arm
trail arm
over your
position.
head. So not the CSS.
So
but
very useful
not
if you're
bad
going
either.
Air Force, because they do a lead arm, trail arm.
You got that going for it.
Scissor kick.
Hey everybody, Stu
that
Smith,
glide
another
position.
CSS critique.
Not that
and here we
useful
have
for
kick off the wall and way too many
others. Let me see if I got a really good one here. This is a really good one. This is a competitive swimmer.
And this is what happens when you have a competitive swimmer.
I explained to him what the combat swimmer stroke was, and this was his first attempt of the combat swimmer stroke.
Obviously, he's going to do
me
this
just
really
saying,
fast. I mean,
this is what you do. You do your top arm, you do your bottom arm, you do a kick, and you hold the glide.
This is almost too fast.
Someone asked earlier about
got a perfect kick off
scissor
the wall,
kick.
perfect
Watch his scissor
streamline,
kick.
double
It
arm
is
pull.
a really
That's a breaststroke pull out right there. Top arm, bottom arm, kick, hold the glide.
His knees do not
hold the glide
just
a little longer if he wanted
to,
because he's so streamlined.
And then he's got this long glide.
Who's to argue with a
where he could glide a little more even. I personally think he's overworking a little bit, but he just did that in 35 seconds.
Work.
He later did a 500 for the first time.
Nice work, buddy.
In like 6:40.
Hey, this is Stu Smith with another CSS
who am I to judge?
And this is what happens when you have a competitive swimmer.
I mean, one, he's a swimmer,
and coach,
great swimming shape.
Take the CSS.
All he really had to do now is just put some things
obviously
together.
He's going to do
so
this
what
really
I recommend
fast. And
for
you notice
him,
perfect streamline. Kick. I mean, this is almost too fast to even explain it.
Remember that he still has pull-up, push-up, sit-ups, and a run left. So let's not
That's a breaststroke pull out right
on
there.
This. Pull back,
arm, bottom
make this
arm,
a little
kick,
more
hold the
efficient
glide.
by holding this glide.
And he hold the glide just a little longer if he wanted to
because
he's so streamlined. But
and just stay streamlined and just hold that glide for another second. Drop a couple
50.
strokes per length.
So this is
maybe slow down a little bit to maybe 7 flat.
I mean,
with
that's
an easy
sub-7 pace right there.
And then he was able to crush the other parts of
the
PST.
Smith
Still working on his run, like all
this is what happens when you have a competitive
they got to work on the run. Oh, let's see. What is the philosophy behind hand release push-ups, and why are military PT tests incorporated? Great question, Tom. I would say it is. I think it's a preferred method. One, for both reasons that we mentioned earlier, the balance of the torso, because if you ever see a lot of Army guys or guys that do a lot of rucking, they're always internally rotated, right? They're bent over like this all the time. They got their gear on, and they need to pull back. And all the push-ups that they're doing for their tests and their training, just continuing to internally rotate them in their position, upper body position. So what that reverse push-up does, or the hand release push-up does, is forces them to stretch the chest, stretch the front of it, and flex the upper back to give you a better posture. And that's going to be very helpful for, a good balanced torso. That's the number one reason. I think another number two reason is it's really a subjective grading criteria whenever someone is doing the push-up. Did they go all the way down? Did they touch the fist to the bottom? Did they touch their chest all the way to the ground? This way, there's no question, did somebody go down far enough, right? You have to go all the way down to the ground. You have to put your chest on the floor. You have to lift your hands up off the ground. and then you have to continue on the reps. So I think it cleans up some of the subjective grading issues that have occurred in the past, but it also helps balance out the shoulder girdle and chest and upper back. So yes, I graduated, buds, in '92. So Gulf War was over, and when I was a SEAL, we were in the Mediterranean a lot. There were some things going on in Bosnia and Serbia, Somalia. So we were in Mediterranean, more or less just standing by to stand by, waiting for the call to do something. So let's see, any other questions? Let me see if I can show you another. We were talking about a scissor kick drill. I think I have one. I think I have one on my TikTok page. Oh, if you haven't seen my TikTok page, by the way, you should, because if you're trying to learn the combat swimmer stroke, go to my TikTok page, Stu Smith 50, and I think I now have over 100 swim videos where I am voiceover critiquing people swimming. So here's one I labeled perfect CSS. In fact, I will let me share my screen here. Check this out. She's really good. Got a little dolphin kick off the wall. Boom. Transitions out. Top arm, bottom arm. Kick. She could do a little bit better with the freestyle catch. See, it's kind of more of a shoulder pull, where she just needs to grab more water. Bend that elbow down and try to get the forearm a little more vertical in the pull faster. So Google freestyle catch if you don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, she was really good. I think she hit this one in like 50 seconds. So 50-second 50. She's got conditioning down pretty well. She's starting to hit that 820 pace I like people to recommend, or like to recommend people to get. Let's see, common kick error. Let's see what this one is. So the common kick error looks like it's probably going to be a scissor kick that turns into a breaststroke kick. Yeah, you see what happens here? So he starts off like a scissor kick, but he rolls over on his belly in the middle of his kick before he's done, and it turns into a breaststroke kick. So this is a very weak way to kick, and it just basically just weakens your hips in that movement. So you want to kick on your side, and then if you want to roll over, you don't have to. If you want to roll over doing the glide, not all the way or in the middle of the kick. This one seems to be a little bit better, more of a scissor kick, but he needs to practice in. See, he brings his leg up real high and way far out, and I don't think that's necessary. You need to focus more on a smaller kick. A lot of people glide too long. Some people glide not enough. Most people need more glide, more power. Let me see. What did I do with that kickboard drill? It's somewhere in here. Fixing a kick, maybe. I can't remember what I titled it. I'll find it for you. But if you go through here, you'll see some common errors that people are having. And it's all fixed, with some, at least some, it's explained a little bit clearer for folks with issues because most of them I've seen before. Every now and then there's one I haven't seen. So yeah. No, I enjoy that. Send your videos in. I'm seriously, I will critique them and send them back. I'll give you an email or a DM. You can put them in my DMs or you can email me and I'll critique it for you. No big deal. Thanks for listening. That is my thank you for listening thing that I do. Let's see. But yeah, you guys should definitely check out StuSmithFitness.com. Whole lot of things in there from articles of the week, videos in there as well, programs, coaching. Yeah, check it out. Let me know if you have any questions about anything. So with that, I think I'm going to call it a day with you guys. Thanks for sticking around. I will see you next week. Hope you guys are enjoying the new year so far. We'll see you later.